just trying to leave for class. I walk over to my living room and I've got a blood dripping down my nose. Probably gonna be kind of late now. It's alright.
What happened there, son?
Bloody nose.
Oh yeah? From what?
Walking.
You walk into a wall or something?
Alright, time to go. Yes, hopefully my bloody nose doesn't come back. What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you stopping by, or appreciate you checking out the channel for the first time. So today I'm gonna bring up a topic that I have talked about a few times on the channel, but in more specific details today in the for the video. So I want to address the question that a lot of people have as to whether or not 300s are viable on the highway and for highway riding. So I recently have started to do more highway / interstate riding on my bike, which is a Honda CBR 300R 2019, if you care about that. But I've done a lot more riding on the highway, and so I'm getting a little bit more used to it, understanding, you know, how far I can take the bike, you know, what are my limits as far as duration, distance, time, duration and time being the same thing. I don't know why I said them both, but basically, like, how far I can take my bike, you know, how far I can travel with it without being too uncomfortable or worrying about, you know, mechanical problems or anything of the sort. So I'll start by saying this, okay? The bike works on the highway, okay? It's not like if anybody tells you that if you're getting a 300, you know, if you mention to someone you're getting a 300 and they say, why would you do that? You can't ride on the highway with it. First off, call them stupid. I'm just kidding, you don't have to call them stupid. But first and foremost, you can. It's legal to ride these on the highway, whereas, like, you know, mopeds that have, you know, like a certain CC on them, and they can't reach a certain speed or whatever, those obviously you can't, like, legally ride on the highway. Obviously check your state's laws to be certain on that, but 300 cc's are motorcycles. They can ride on the highway just as any other car can, but a lot of people worry about whether or not it's practical or not. So here's what I'll tell you from my bit of experience. You can do it, yes, but it is not going to be the most comfortable thing it's not going to be a very comfortable ride. And here's what I mean by that. The ride is going to be obviously long, and if you haven't done long rides before, then you're in for a little treat as far as, you know, comfortability goes. So a main thing I notice is that just the long ride kind of wears out your butt. You know, you have to sit for so long. Just as, like, sitting for too long, playing video games at a desk, doing work, whatever it is, that kind of, you know, just sitting in general bothers you after a while. Yeah, it doesn't go away just because you're riding a motorcycle. And believe me, after a half hour of riding, when you're just riding for a long distance like that, it'll catch up to you and it starts to be uncomfortable. But that's something that you're gonna run into on any bike. You know, you're gonna have more comfort with cruiser bikes, Harleys, whatever it may be, that have bigger seats, nicer, more cushy seats. So just keep that in mind. But as far as the 300 goes, it's also not comfortable because you're riding at such a high RPM for a very long duration. And what I mean is, on these bikes that have smaller engines, you have to be in a higher RPM to reach the speeds that you need to travel safely on the highway. So I've been going usually about in the 65 mile an hour zones. I've been going about 5 over, at about 70. I don't ride much on 70 mile per hour zones. I don't think I have at all, actually. But then obviously like 60 mile an hour zones, I usually just been sticking about that 5 over limit. So 70, 72, 75 is about the highest I ever go. And like I said, it's not going to be very comfortable to ride at that high of an RPM. In my opinion, it is worth it, but if you're gonna have to travel for like work, if you're gonna commute where you're gonna be going long distances on the interstate or the highway, I would reconsider where you're buying if you're looking to buy a 300 or, trying to use it for longer distances like that. Because after doing it for a while, it will get kind of annoying, I feel. Because I just did about a 40-minute drive up to my brother's place this past weekend. And even just on the way home, I wasn't dreading the drive home, but I wasn't necessarily looking forward to it that much. Normally you kind of look forward to that kind of stuff, but I knew it wasn't going to be very comfortable. It just takes a little while, And overall, riding at that high speeds for that long, even though it was only 40 minutes, just gets kind of tedious on the bike. However, I will say it is a bit fun to gain that experience, and it has been fun to just be traveling at that speed, What's that noise? I don't know what that noise was. That scared me. It sounded like gunshots or something. But yeah, in long story short, 300 cc's are viable on the interstate, and they are practical. They get the job done and they do what they need to do. But as a word of warning from someone who's done it for a little bit now, know that there are going to be a few downfalls with riding the small cc's on the interstate. Just know that. The high RPMs is annoying. Okay, comfortability is not the best, but that's going to be with pretty much any sport bike. Okay, keep these things in mind, and I hope this answers any questions that anybody has about riding with a 300. They're great for in-town. I'll take that, like they're perfect for in-town sport bike riding. But yeah, as far as interstates and stuff go, keep these things in mind. I appreciate you guys watching, and I hope this helps. Take it easy.